Hey loves, I'm feeling called to share the message to reframe your mindset and your belief system of what is self-care, because sometimes people can have a very limited view of self-care where it's just having a pedicure or a spa day or a day away from the kids or something that takes a lot of time or money or energy, instead of being like, you can reframe everyday things into self-care. So you can also add more pleasure into your everyday activities. So I'm like, there's a million and two things that I want to share. Last week, for example, I shared in some of my Instagram stories was I started my day with a haircut at the spa, and then I was like, ooh, I get to start my day with like a head massage and chocolate, and then I wanted to continue that like self-care feeling energy throughout my day. So when I got home, I had like a green juice and I put it in a wine glass so that it felt more luxurious and fancy, and it made me feel like more lit up and excited that I was drinking a green juice, and I called it Green Goddess to like make me feel like high vibration energy. And there was all these little things that I added throughout my day, like turning on my diffuser and taking another couple seconds to like smell the oil as I open it up and not just put it right in, like really enjoy the little itty bitty things in my life, and that is self-care. You can have little and big things be self-care, and the message that's coming through today is to like reframe things that you used to not like doing, in particular like chores, into your self-care or your ability to show yourself love because you want to be in a loving, expansive, clean, tidy, organized home, for example. So this kind of came because I've done very awesome, lovely self-care things today. I caught up with a friend and had a nap and went and got a massage, and that's why like you might be able to see some oil on my hair. And it was like super expansive, and I was talking about things that light me up, and I always love the conversation I have with my massage therapist, and I was talking about like the cramps that I'm still experiencing from menstrual cycle, and he's like, well, I can do some release work there. So he did that, and I've never had any work done in there before, and motherfuck did it hurt. I did not swear in there, but I was like, oh my god, I'm going to if this lasts another couple seconds. And it totally reminded me of like the pain, and it's like, okay, that's where that needed to be like cleared and released, and okay, cool. And afterwards I felt so expansive, and he recommended like a chiro and an acupuncturist and stuff like that, so I'm gonna book those for more self-care. And when I got home, I felt very expansive, like it just like felt expansive in that area, and I felt like that there was like more energy to come through, so more room for expansion and abundance and that type of energy to come through. So I was like, okay, let's follow this flow, and self-care is also moving in your inspired action. So if you're feeling called to take out the garbage, like follow that. Don't be like, oh well, like I just got home and I was like in my head my plan was this. Be like, okay, I'm feeling inspired to take out the garbage, so I did that, and then I started cleaning up other little areas, and I was like really randomly like pleasantly surprised, I guess would be how I describe it, of how much energy and momentum I kept getting from cleaning up like different areas. And it's interesting because I have been consciously cleaning out and making more space in my life because I don't want existing things that hold old energy or that no longer serve me to be around. And like I found a drawer where there was still like happiness coach and healer stuff. Like that's from the title that I gave myself 2 years ago and that I haven't used for over a year now. So it's like interesting that like little like business cards or like little sheets of information I still had in my space in my home that had that old energy that were ready to leave, and I wouldn't have like thought to clean that drawer, except that I kind of got on this like momentum of cleaning, and it felt so good because I recently have changed my mindset around, I used to like hate doing chores, and like chores sound terrible, and it's like what you get in trouble for when you're a kid when you don't do them, or you don't do them enough or right, or like all the stuff around that. So instead of perceiving cleaning and doing that stuff as chores, I've shifted it to creating a loving energy in my immediate environment. Showing myself self-love and care is cleaning up after myself and organizing my papers and putting them away and having those open, expansive spaces instead of I guess from like the weekend I was doing a bunch of accounting work and catching up on some bookkeeping, and I was organizing and sorting stuff. So I kind of had left a bunch of paper open because I didn't complete it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just like kind of leave it like there. But it made me not love how my environment looked, having the papers all over the place, and now everything's organized and tidy and neat, and it feels so expansive, and the energy is like way different in my home right now because I continue to follow that energy, and because I've labeled it fun, and because I also like consciously choose to create joy in my situations. So like ever since I think like university is when I started doing like cleaning dance parties where you can like put on your favorite music or listen to podcasts or like do something that fulfills you and that feeds your mind or feeds your soul while you're doing things that you might not necessarily absolutely love to do. And then just with that like reframe of my mindset being like, I'm doing this because I love myself, I'm doing this because I enjoy it and it feels good, it started getting better and better, and then I was seeing a ton of results, and then I kept doing it. So it's interesting because at the beginning I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like take out the garbage, do something for like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna keep doing what I was originally planning on doing when I got home. And it turns out that I just had to move in this inspired action flow and found all this old stuff that needed to be released from my space. And I encourage you guys to play with that energy of what your inspired action is, even if it kind of seems weird. And if you have any like big projects, to break it down into little bite-sized pieces, like baby steps over time has such huge results. And ever since like the whole like crazy retrogrades that we had and the eclipse season, I've been feeling called to like clean certain areas. So I got rid of a bunch of clothes and books and donated a bunch of things. And I keep getting these little project ideas. And instead of being like, okay, I'm gonna go through my entire home and do it all today, which used to be my like perfectionist overachiever mind, and then I'd be like, oh my god, that's just like so much stuff to do, I don't want to do that. I've decided and consciously decided that when I have those feelings, I'm gonna be like, do you know what? Overwhelm is me being in the future. When I'm in the present moment, overwhelm doesn't exist because I'm just doing that one thing in front of me. So I really encourage you guys to like break down any big projects or tasks that you're feeling overwhelmed with into like teeny tiny bite-sized pieces, so that you can be like, do you know what? I do feel really inspired to clean out that section of the closet. Not the entire closet, not all the things, but like it's actually kind of like really unorganized how I have this stuff piled here. And I'll just work on that. And if that's feeling awesome and complete and you do it for 5 minutes or half an hour, amazing, yay! Totally celebrate that. And then if seeing how awesome that old kind of messy pile area looks compared to how it does look now inspires you and you want to keep kind of like going in inspired action, then do the next little baby step and do the next little baby step and let yourself build on that positive momentum as well, because it's like so easy to have like the pile in your room where you kind of just like put your clothes and put stuff, and it's not that big of a deal when there's like a couple clothes or like a box or like some papers, but then like you add another book to it and then another thing, so the momentum can go in a negative way, but you can also do it in the same way where you're like, do you know what, I'm not going to tackle the whole pile, I'm going to do those couple little things there and I'm going to move that box and just see how that feels. And you can build on that positive momentum, because when you jump in, when you just do it, when you start, then you can build on the positive momentum that you have going forward. I feel like I'm saying momentum a million times, but it's true. Whatever you're moving in the direction of, momentum will build. Those little baby steps will compound over time in a negative way or in a positive way. So it's important for us to be aware of that and choose to move in the positive directions. And a book that's really awesome for that, that's coming through right now, that someone may want to go check out, is The Slight Edge. I'm trying to remember the author's name. Jeff Olstein? Anyway, I can't really remember exactly, but I know the book's called Slight Edge. So if you guys want more inspiration on how to go in like little baby steps and see the compounding effect of your positive, successful choices over time, definitely recommend that. And I encourage you guys to like look at anything in your life right now that you could be feeling like obligated to do, like, oh fuck, I have to do this. I have to go to these doctor's appointments, or I have to go to work, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. See a way that you can reframe it in a loving way to be like, I am so grateful that I get to go to doctor's appointments. Like, I'm so grateful that for me, like, I've done chiro before, and like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't outstanding for like the result I got. So I'm being recommended to someone else. So I'm like, okay, like, I've been resisting chiro appointments, but instead of being like, oh, like, it can be annoying and meeting the new person and going to a new place and doing the forms and all that stuff, instead of having that as like a negative mentality, being like, okay, I live in an abundant universe where there's all kinds of people who are supportive and amazing resources. So I get to follow that inspired action path and live a life without, ideally, menstrual pain in the future, and with a super in alignment body, and that'll create more high vibe, positive, good energy in my life, and then that'll continue to expand. So shifting those kind of things from like, okay, like, I'm gonna have to go to some chiropractor appointments, it'll be like, I get to, and I'm so unbelievably blessed to be living in North America where that's readily accessible and that these services are available and I have the ability to go and receive them. And shifting those other things that can come up on your to-do list or projects in your life that you might be like, oh, like, even if you're at like a 9-to-5 job that you're like, feels soul crushing right now, you can be like, I get to go to this place that serves and supports me in this transition chapter, in this life path that I'm on right now, and that'll support me in moving forward onto my next part in the future, or the money from this gets to fund my side project or my passion project, or me moving forward to be a coach or healer or light worker in some way. So it's so important to take the old things that we had resistance to or have a negative mindset around and flip them or reframe them, whatever way you want to talk about it, into a more loving perspective so that you can be more excited to do it and bring more joy and pleasure into having those awesome experiences. And Lisa says, move a little to your right, you're not in the center. I don't really care about those things. I know that I probably should move a little to my right. Is that more centered? But then I'm like in front of the thing more. If I go like this, you guys can see joy. I like that enjoy, flip back, or, sorry, your life has joy. Anyway, random tangents, and hey everyone else joining on live. Hi Roger and Chris and Lisa and Bob and Donna. I hope you guys are having an awesome night. Okay, and before I was meaning like, I know that I should care about the details. I have friends who are like incredible with their like design and decor and backgrounds, and like they get lit up by all the little details, and I absolutely enjoy their houses. I love like the retreats that they have and the events that they host. Like, they have extraordinary events, and I'm like, my brain just doesn't think like those little things. Like, I will always have to have them or my cousins or like people who are like good with those things and all that stuff help me for those, because I'm like, I'll just show up. But thank you for bringing that to my awareness. I will be more aware of centering in the future if that's coming up for me. And I also have like little flowers here, and I'm like, I could totally do more things, but I'm just like, my brain doesn't get lit up by that. But I could choose to reframe it by being like, it's a loving thing to support the people who do love the little details like that, to be like aware and reformat it so that it's the best it can be and just keep getting better and better. So thank you for the feedback. And I hope that you guys are all having an awesome night, and I'm sending you so much love. Bye.